Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing, coming to you with another tutorial. I am working on the Joyful Spring Journal, trying to get it finished. I've got quite a ways to go, but I thought I'd bring you along while I make the journal topper. So I'll show you the supplies I'm going to be using as well as the fabrics. We're going to be using a couple of clay molds that I made some time ago. This one's a little bit warped. I don't know if you can tell that, but they work just fine. And then we've got a butterfly. So we see what we end up doing. I'm going to use this stencil to do some stenciling on top of corrugated cardboard, which I forgot to strip down when I did this. So I'm a little bit off. Grabbing a little bit of time here this morning before I go back into the madness of taking care of my sister's roommate. So I'm going to need to do that. I'm going to need to get this wet so I can strip off a layer of that cardboard, but we'll come back to that in a moment. Thought I had all my ducks in a row. Clearly I did not. So we're going to be, you haven't seen this yet because I have not done the flip through or put the flip through on the channel for the B.Reborn journal, but I did a really cool technique on her journal on her cover that I want to replicate today by doing some actual texturizing through a stencil on top of the corrugated cardboard. It was really, really great effect. I love it. It was exactly what I was hoping for. So yeah, that's the stencil we're going to be using. These are the fabrics. So I'm not sure. I'm probably going to use this as the main base, and then I'll use bits of this throughout the journal as well as maybe a layer on the journal cover, which the topper will go onto, so that we've got some layering going on. So we won't need those today at all. Probably not going to use this either. This is going to be my main focal image, is this portion of the this digital. This one is from Angela Kerr Designs from the Garden Story kit. And again, those will all be linked below in the video description box. I also like to do a little bit of collage on my topper, so I did pull some things from my drawer. These are from the Sweet Vanessa, and so I thought I would start tapping into that drawer of papers that she sent me. So this will make some nice layering, and I just absolutely love this tissue paper. Love the sound. So I probably won't use much of it, but maybe I'll use the Yours Truly or something, but that's a little ways down the road. So I'm not gonna do a lot of talking in this video. One, I'm not up for it. Two, I need to make the video a decent length. I printed 2 to a page of this kit. This is from Sandy Creates. It's her yellow and blue bonanza. So there's 2 here, and I might use that just for a little bit of colored layering in my collage bits. So yeah. So let's work on this because I just completely messed that up. So let me get this wet. I did give it a coat of gesso because cardboard is compressed paper. So if you don't seal it or put a barrier there, then your paints are just going to soak into the cardboard, and you're not going to get the same effect. So let's just spray this really quick. Let it sit for a moment. I'm just going to kind of push it, let that get in there. I should have done that before the gesso because I don't know that this is really going to be entirely helpful. So, oh man. Well, let's just try it. Oh, there. Yeah. Boom. So we'll have to give a little bit more gesso to this. Now, a lot of this is not going to show, so I don't have to worry about the middle too much. And thank you, Shelly, for this tip. In a video a while ago, she said, oh, just don't work so hard. Oh, she didn't say that, but the message was there's an easier way. So you can just spritz your cardboard with some water, and then look at that, just peeling off even with a layer of gesso. So I'm going to continue pulling this off until I'm satisfied. I think I'm happy with that. So actually, let's get a little bit more off of this edge. It seems a little bit too close to that edge, but we don't want to remove it all. As you can see, I did remove a lot. So let me get rid of this mess, and then we will go on. Boy, oh boy, clumsy as all get out. I'm still drinking my coffee. I'm not sleeping great, so I've been up. I got up early today. Just reaching for some paper towels here. I've been very, very tired. So I'm not going to get any content up on the channel this week, but I am going to try to get in the studio and get some things done. So I'm just going to pat that, and then I'm going to go ahead and speed through this. I'm going to give this another coat of white gesso, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to pull over a little bit of a mat here. These are the Tim Holtz Ranger craft mats. I cut it in half just so I'd have a smaller piece. So we're going to work on colorizing the clay molds. Now, when I do other kinds of 3D embellishments like metal or things like that, I make sure that I give everything a coat of gesso, which you'll see. Well, I didn't do that one on camera, did I? No, I did not. I made the cover for the B.Reborn journal off camera, but I used a lot of metal bits on hers, so I had to cover it with gesso first so that the paint will stick. But I think we're going to be good here. I am going to just paint these yellow, I believe. I wonder if this one should be blue with a yellow center, and I'll make the butterfly yellow. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to use Golden Fluid Acrylics. This is benzimidazolone. I never can say that. Yellow medium. It's just a really sunny, beautiful yellow. I do not take care of my paints. I did clean some of them up the other day. I was proud of myself. Not the other day, the last time I sat in here, which has been a while. So let's go ahead and do the butterfly. So we're just going to paint this. Yeah, that's going to be pretty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat set this really quick to dry it, and I'll be right back. Okay, that should be sufficient. We'll just wipe this up. And then we're going to do a little bit of blue on, or we're going to do blue on this flower. And then we're going to do a glaze over both pieces. So this is the blue that I think I'm going to use, is the anthraquinone blue. Anthraquinone. I think it might be the best color match, so we'll see. This is Golden Artist Acrylic. So I'm going to try to, I need another brush. You know how that goes. I don't know if you guys do this kind of work, but it feels like you're just like forever getting another brush, another brush, another brush. So let's test this out. So yeah, that's going to be perfect. I am going to water it down just a little bit. Okay, there we go. The only most important thing is to just get all the edges covered, because those will show and they can look really tacky if you've got any white showing. So let's just touch that up. And I think we're going to wait on this. I'm not going to take the time to dry it and break the video here. We're just going to set that aside, and we'll come back to it when it's dry and just move on to another step. So I'm just going to wipe that up. Beautiful color, perfect for this project. So I was unsure. I'm just going to set this over here. There we go. So now let's work on the focal image here. Well, actually, we can go to this now. So I think we can go to this now. Is it dry? Yeah, mostly. As I tap it with a wet wipe. It's all right. I've been doing this a long time. So we're gonna actually, we'll pull that over because we're gonna use the glaze on this as well. So that'll be a good chance to bring that back over and give it a coat. So a raw umber glaze is 1 part paint to 2 parts of fluid matte medium. So we're gonna need a little bit more on this than I would for something smaller. So I'm just gonna put out about 1/4 size of the paint, and you don't have to use an artist acrylic or a fluid acrylic. Any acrylic will work. You can also do it in any color you like. I just like the grungy look, so 1/4 size, 2/4 sizes, so 2 parts of the matte medium, and then you're just going to mix it up like so, and we're going to give this whole base a coat. Okay, so once you get it all coated, now this is mixing a little bit with the gesso because it was not quite dry. Not a problem at all. I don't want the cover to be, super, super grungy. I want it to be a combination of bright and grungy. So then you're going to grab a baby wipe. That's preferable to me, but you could also use something else that's just mildly wet. So you're just going to pounce and take up some of that paint, because basically what we're looking for is for that paint to get into all those crevices of the corrugated cardboard. So that's essentially what you're going to get. Okay, so this is a really light, again, it mixed with the gesso, so that's why we're getting a little bit of a lighter thing there. So now let's go ahead and I'm going to take a moment. Actually, let me bring this back over. Sorry. I'm going to bring this back over. I'm going to bring over the 2 clay pieces and dry them so that we can get a glaze, and we might come in with another layer on this as well. Okay. So I'm going to go in with just a little bit more. We're not going to be putting anything on this cardboard for a while, but I do want that to be a little bit more saturated. I think that gesso really affected the lightness of this. Usually it's a lot darker. So let me just get that on there, and I'm going to go ahead and do the same process. I'm going to very, very lightly tap. I don't want to take off quite as much as I did before. So the glaze, the way the glaze works is because it's got that combination of paint with a medium, a matte medium, which is basically, it serves multiple purposes, but it's also an extender. It will keep your paints wetter for longer. So that's why it works great for this. So there we go. That's a little bit better, a little bit darker. So I'm going to set that over there. I'm going to cap my gesso before I spill it. Okay. And now we can bring these over and do the same. So I'm going to grab that smaller brush, a smaller brush. And I think I'm going to mix up a little bit more because we got a lot kind of light. I think maybe I had a little bit too much matte medium in the last batch, at least for my liking. So let's just mix up a little bit more. Fantastic. So let's go ahead and go in on our butterfly. Oh yeah. Woohoo! I'll show this to you in a second. Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. Fantastic. That's exactly what I was looking for. So see how we got that, we still have that bright yellow, but we brought it down in color saturation by the glaze. So we're going to pull this up and do the same. I'm going to kind of really dab that yellow in the middle. And I'm going to actually, I don't know that it was very useful on, we're just pulling some stuff off there. I'm going to try to bring back some of the blue. So I am rubbing a little bit. We may have to go over this again with some blue highlights because that raw umber glaze is just really hiding all of that blue, beautiful color. So we'll see as we get along what we want to do. So that's basically, so see how we pulled up that. I think I'm going to go ahead and go in with some blue. We've exposed some of the white by pulling that up. So I'm going to put these away. I'm going to wipe this up, and then we're going to just pull that blue paint out for a quick second. Okay, let's get that blue out again. Just a smidge. Oh, that was a lot. Goodness gracious. Every time. Every time. Okay, so let's just... So we still got that raw umber down into the crevices, which is still going to be beneficial. So I'm just going lightly over all of that again. And that we're not going to be affecting the crevices because I'm not digging in to try to get those crevices. So that's going to help us keep those shadowy areas looking nice and dark while still bringing in the blue. Now this is still pretty dark, but again, I didn't want that royal blue necessarily to be a part of this assemblage here on the cover. So this is, I think, going to work out well. We might use some iridescent fine paint to highlight some of this texture as well, but that's usually a decision I try to wait on until I'm a little bit further in the process. So I'm just going to go around the edges again, just to make sure that they are nice and covered. Okay, there we go. Boom. Put that over there, drop that in the water. I'm going to use this wipe and I'm going to try to salvage this paint. I'm trying to save my wipes after I use them so that I'm not just wasting all that. So I'll set this aside and then I can use it in something. It makes great collage fodder actually. So if you're patient and figure out, how you can use it. So set that over there. Let me get this out of my way and we're going to work on the cover. The collage bit of this. So I'm just going to wipe this desk up a little bit more. There we go. I'm very, very dirty right now. So I'm hoping I got the wet stuff off of my hands. Okay. So we have to kind of pull this over. It's wet, so we're not going to put anything down on it, but we have to pull it over just to kind of get a size of this. I'm going to move a little bit closer. There we go. And so that we can get an estimation of how big we want our topper, our main focal image to be, which is basically this. Oh, kind of bummed about that. I wish that was a little bit bigger. It's going to be okay though. So I'm going to trim this down and I'll give you the dimensions after I'm done. I'm not exactly sure. I can tell you that this cardboard I cut down to 5 inches by 7.5, it looks like. Okay, so there is our topper. I'm just going to grab my corner rounder. I think I want to round the corners of the focal part of this, but we'll see. We'll see. And I'm going to need to grab my ink as well. I so apologize, guys. I'm frazzled. Feels good to sit here though, so I'm feeling grateful. Just going to move that out of the way a little bit. So that's one layer, and so let's pull over some of this other stuff. Got too much stuff over there beside me. So the rest of the pieces are going to be kind of torn down. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this in half since, again, it is 2 to a page and I don't need all of that. And then we can decide what part of this we want. I think I want, I'm tossed up about that. I feel it's really, really bright, but I think it's going to be okay. It's about the same height, which is what we want. So I'm going to do a rough tear on this edge, and I'm going to tear away from me, which will help me to avoid that white core. Sometimes I like the white core because it inks up really, really beautifully, but we're going to just do this a little bit different. Oh, all thumbs sometimes. There we go. We might tear that down a little bit more. We'll see. And so now I can, this is not going to be an immediate layer, but it's going to be a layer. So now I know that I can cut this down because I don't need all that bulk. Just like about so. Okay. And I don't know that I'm going to tear this down. Actually, I think what I was thinking was using one of my specialty corner punches. This one, I believe. Let me test this out. See if it's the right one. Not that one, the other one. So yeah, I think I want to do that on the cover piece here. This is the focal image. There we go. So let's ink this up, just so sometimes inking can give me kind of a perspective. Okay, so there's 2 layers. Yeah, that's going to be pretty because it's going to be separated by something else. I actually really like that. So then we're going to pull in some of this specialty paper. This is from Vanessa. I really, really like it. I want to not waste it, so I'm going to use this edge. And I'm going to just pull some off, see how easy it is to tear. Okay, and so that will be kind of in between, like so. Oh yeah, that's pretty. I do want a book page, so I'm going to reach in my drawer and see if I've got something here. Actually, let me move the scrap bin here. I forgot to grab a music paper, which I really, really like. So where did it go? Where did it go? Let's just use this one. This is a copy of one of my vintage music papers. So we're going to do that same thing. We're going to create a rough edge. And let's see, because we want that to probably be this layer. Oh yeah, so pretty. So I think I'm going to cut this one at this line here. Okay, so that's that. That's going to be really nice. So I think I'm going to bring it up and take off the excess off of the top. So I'm just going to do a rough tear there and then ink that. So you're not going to see me use the fabric today because I'm not ready for that. I haven't made the cover yet, but that will be coming soon. I did ask her if she wanted it to be hardcover or soft cover, and she said hardcover. So I'm going to do my traditional hardcover journal. So this needs to be trimmed down just a bit. I have a lot of excess, but I don't mind the cover getting a little bit bulky. So that is really pretty. Actually, I feel like, oh, this is too tall. What? What? Okay, so let's make a line. And I'm just going to cut that. I don't want to tear it because that edge is already pretty straight. But I just had an epiphany. There's a butterfly in this digital that I thought would be fun to just sneak in a piece of that butterfly. So I think I'm going to fussy cut this butterfly out. Okay, I think this is going to be really cute, peeking out in the center layer here. So let me just ink. Let's figure out what we want to use, and then we'll ink it up. Yeah, that's going to be pretty. So we have to be thinking about our total width here. So we can't go much wider than that. So I think I might have to cut just a little bit off this edge. So I'm going to do that really quick. Not a problem. We can always make a change. So which one is that? That's the one I want, right? Yep. Let's cut that again. Yep. Yeah, that's better, because we don't really want it to be any wider than, where's my ruler again? So I said this was 5 inches, so we don't want the topper to be more than 4.5 inches wide, in my opinion. So let's bring this over, and that's that. We want to bring in some of that beautiful, oh, I had this book page that I forgot to use. That's what I had for my script or book page element. So let's bring over a little bit of this tissue paper. So I'm going to use my tear ruler so I can tear off the signature part of this. And then the rest of it I'm just going to tear by hand because I want that to be rough around that signature. May have to do that again. It's all right. Because what we're aiming for here is, I might have too many layers going on here. So I'm feeling like this maybe could go here. because see how it's translucent. So I think I need to tear that a little bit closer to that script. Oh man, I just tore it. It's delicate. Not easy, but we can make it work. Okay, like that. Yeah, doesn't have to be perfect, right? So that would be lovely because you can see all that stuff through there. And then a little bit of that. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so we will tear this down. This tracing paper is really hard to tear. So I'm can always take more off as we move along. So in order to move along though, we're going to have to put this aside because I can't really glue it together because of the way it's going to lay out. So we need to move on to the next step of this part, which is our stenciling. So, oh, and don't forget our butterfly, Cara-Renee. Don't forget the butterfly. So we're going to do some stenciling on here with the stencil I mentioned. So I'm going to use my Liquitex Flexible Modeling Paste. I need to get all this goopy stuff off the top because it's, well, some of it's still good. There are some hard bits that I want to remove here. It can make it very difficult to use the product if there's a bunch of dry stuff at the top. Okay, so there's that. So I'm going to put it mostly everywhere because I don't know, I'm not exactly sure what's going to show. So I'm going to go, actually, no, I'm going to do it in pieces. So I'm just going to place this down and I'm going to get some texture paste. So for obvious reasons, you're not going to get a clear impression because you're stenciling on something that is not solid. So that one's pretty messy, but you'll see the effect is still the same. So I'm going to go up here. Okay, I'm going to take some time to dry this and I'll be right back. Hello friends, I am back. It has been, about 4 or 5 hours since I did the first part of this video. Everything is nice and dry. This is nice and crispy and hard. So that texture, you want it to be very, very dry before you start applying any color. Now we are going to come, it's a little redundant, but we're going to come back over this with a raw umber glaze. Now, that being said, a person could do this first before you do any glaze. This is just my process because sometimes I change my mind in the middle. So I wouldn't want to have not done my raw umber glaze, then decided to do the texture on top. So there's no harm in doing that layer underneath. So, and then off camera, before I walked out of the house, this was way too dark using the anthraquinone blue, and so I came in with manganese blue, just with a light coat of that, and it's going to be the perfect color for this journal. So yeah, let's get going. I've got all my brushes still here in the water. I went over and took care of our patient, and the OT person came today, so it was pretty non-eventful. I'm not sure exactly what her purpose was because she was only there about 10 minutes, so that was a little frustrating. But, you know, onward we go. So we're going to mix up more of our glaze again. So that again is 1 part of raw umber fluid acrylic, about that much, and then 2 parts of the matte medium, fluid matte medium. There we go. Gonna mix that up. I'm just working on my glass mat. This thing cleans like a dream. Sometimes it takes a little scrubbing, but I just use a little bit of rubbing alcohol and it comes right off, so it's nice. Okay, there we go. So now we're going to take our baby wipe. Hopefully I don't run out one in the middle of this process. I might. And I'm going to dab again. Okay. Just like that. So you get that, again, you get that texture down, or that color down into the texture. And then we're going to skip some other color over the top of it. So let me show you this up close. It's really pretty. Boom. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, so we are going to, I'm going to need to wipe this up. I should have just kept that wipe, but I'm just going to wipe it up with this paper towel. Trying to avoid getting up and getting another container of wipes there. Okay, so let me take a moment and dry this, and I'll be right back. Okay, I think we're ready to move on. I'm just bending that a little bit because it does work a bit. So now we're going to get some of both of the colors of paint out. And I think we're going to use the manganese blue and the medium yellow that we were using earlier. So I'm just going to get some of this on my mat here. And I'm just going to put my finger in it and just skip over some of this texture. Okay, with just this yellow. It's very bright, but that's okay because we can kind of marry the grunge with the light and it'll be really complementary, so really contrasty. So just a little bit left here and I'll show you what this looks like close up. Now again, I am putting paint in places that are going to be covered, but I just prefer to do that. I've already got it on my mat and then I don't have to think about it, okay? Now I'm going to dry this because I don't necessarily want to make green. So if I were to apply the blue now, I would get green. So again, it's super vibrant, but we're going to be pushing it back with some blue. So I'm going to take another moment and dry this, and I'll be right back. Okay. So again, just giving that a bend. We might get a little bit of color mixing, but I don't mind that. A little bit would be all right. So I'm wondering though, because I'm putting this on, so I had to go back and recolorize this because I had done the raw umber glaze and it just got lost in it. So I'm thinking there's probably no harm in using the anthraquinone blue, and if I need to put the manganese blue on it, I can as well. But I think this might work. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just go around and I'm going to put bits of this blue. So we want to bring that blue into the edges of this. Oh, I think this is going to work fine. We might come in with a little bit of the manganese after it's dry. I'm going to go ahead and give this one more dry. Okay, so I'm just going to show you a close-up so you can see how dark that is. That anthraquinone, blue. So we're going to use the manganese. It's a little bit brighter. It kind of tends to have a teal color when it's by itself. It's really kind of strange. It must have a green undertone. So I'm going to use this. This is the fluid acrylic, and I'm just going to go here and there. Again, not everywhere. I don't want to overwork this, but I do want to have those colors accented. Okay, I think we're good there. It does mean another dry, so as they say, it's just a process, a little dance that we do. Okay, I think we're good there. So that's what it looks like close up. So you can see that brighter blue just peeking out here and there. Really, really fun. So now we can go ahead and build our assemblage on here. So assemblage is just a word for a combination of elements put together to create a certain look. So we've got, I'm going to just turn these over the way that they are going to go in order. So this was down first, so we're going to go ahead and put that down. I am going to roughly put it down here first just to make sure that everything is okay. That was going to go kind of up a little bit, like so. And then this was going to go here. So we've got that grungy edge. I think this is got to go over, so we may have to tear that down a little bit. I like that a lot. And then that, I'm going to have to tear that tissue. It's all right. I don't really want a lot of fragile edges hanging over because that can, you know, take some wear and tear that's unnecessary. So that looks good. And then this, okay, and so on. All right, so let's go ahead and glue this down. Now I'm going to use my, I think I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac for this part. You know what? Is that going to really work? Yeah. I don't know now. I usually put this on a harder surface, so that's what I'm struggling with. But I don't want to really go in. I think I'm going to go with the Fabri-Tac because I don't want to use the E6000. I'm only going to use that to attach my clay bits. So let's see if this will work. If I put a plenty on here, I think it's going to be good. I've never had anything come off, or nobody's really told me that anything's come off. So lots of people have received my journal. So there we go. So I'm just going to kind of aim for the center, kind of even-ish as best I can, like about there. Okay. And then I'm thinking this one I'm just going to use a glue stick because I don't want to get anything that's going to show through. So let me grab my Oohoo stick. I'm gonna losing some of that writing, but that's just the nature of it. I'm just gonna get a bunch of that. Uh-oh. Oh no! Ah! I just ruined it. That was unfortunate as all get out. It's all stuck to my glue stick. It's stuck to my fingers. Okay, let me regroup here. That was not what I planned. Okay, so what are we gonna do, folksies? Oh, you touch it and it tears. Like I just literally touched this and it just went boom like that. So let's just see if we can use this piece. Let's just use that little bit. So I think I'm just going to have to use the Fabri-Tac because otherwise I'm going to have a problem. So I'm just going to put some down, smooth it out with my fingers a little bit so it's not gloppy, and then just put that tissue right there because I do want that element. I thought that was a really good idea. Okay. You know, we always can make a way around. Things don't work out. And then I'm feeling like I want this to get taken down because it doesn't need to be that big. So I don't need to ink that edge because it's not going to show. We're going to put that there. And again, I'm going to use the Fabri-Tac. Just like so. So you can see that tissue peeking through. And then we want to pause here because I want to get that butterfly in there like we talked about. So, and I'm thinking about putting a little bit of paint around the edges on this. Thinking about it. So I was thinking that we could put this butterfly right here and just have it kind of peeking out like so. What do you think? I like that a lot. And then this would come in here like that. That would come in like that. So what is that? Oh, that's the paper. I may cut that corner to match the other thing, the next layer. So give me a sec. This side might not be perfect because I don't have a square edge on this to cut on. So let's just commit, Cara-Renee, just commit. I just want that to kind of stick out like that so it's kind of hidden a little bit. And then I need to get more ink on this. There we go. And then we'll put that paper there. Oh, that's lovely. Isn't that lovely? And then this will go here and match that corner. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Now I just want to pause and think about if I want to add any color to any of these papers. That's not even though, so I want to make sure I'm keeping an eye on that. I'm just going to hold this up so I can look at it. I really love it. I love it just the way it is. But what I think I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pause here and I'm going to put a little bit of my favorite thing is iridescent gold fine paint. So I'm going to reach behind me and grab that. And I'm just going to skip just a bit of it on the top of this texture. And then I'm going to put it around this piece. So hopefully I will not regret that. Okay, so I just put a little bit on my table and then just get my finger just barely in that. I'm going to do this first so that it has a chance to kind of dry. And we're just going to give it a little bit of a gold look here. Oh, that was a lot. It's okay. You know, we work with what we have. It's not a big deal. I'm not going to cry over it. I'm going to set that over there so it can dry. And I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to mainly just focus on what's going to be seen. And I don't want to overdo it. Okay, so I'm just going to just barely get some on there just so it doesn't, so that the gold on that, around that focal image doesn't look weird. So when you want to have things look like they go together, you want to repeat what you're doing in another place of your project so that it doesn't look so it doesn't look out of character. Okay. Oh, I love this so much. And I love this gold. Oh my gosh, I love this gold. Oh, I think that is perfect. Perfect, perfect. Okay. So let me wipe my fingers off and let's go ahead and glue this down while we're waiting for that other thing to dry. Okay, just going to set that there. Just let that butterfly peek out. That looks really cool. I love that. I love that layered look. Oh, makes my heart happy. So I'm going to zap this other thing very quickly because otherwise I'm going to smudge it. So I'll be right back. Okay, this should be good to glue down now. So I'm tempted to use some E6000, but I do not want to risk having it come through the paper and distort the image on the other side. So as much as I'm tempted to do that, and I'm just lining it up to that so that I can kind of follow that contour there. So I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac again. I'm just going to use a lot so it'll get down in the grooves of the corrugated cardboard. Just putting some extra on this this side of it because it's going to be touching the cardboard the most. Just make sure we get a good adhesion there. Okay, turn it over. I'm going to line it up with that rounded bit there. And I'm just going to make sure it looks straight on this edge. So I'm going to pick it up. Oh, that looks really good. Kind of go over just a little bit. There we go. So we've got a little bit more showing over here than we do over there, but you know, it happens. There we go. Love it. Love it, love it. Okay, so guys, guess what? The only thing we have left to do is attach our flower. Oh my goodness, this is going to be so beautiful. Look at that flower. Oh my goodness, that's gorgeous. And then our butterfly could go up here. What do you think? Shall we put some gold on it? I think we should put some gold on them. I don't know which I like. I think the butterfly is pretty, but maybe it should go like that. Not totally sold on the butterfly. I don't really want it to go on the top of the house. Now we got a butterfly there. I wish you could tell me. I think I am going to put it up there. Let's make sure that we don't want the flower up there. See, and I think it makes more sense that the flower's down here. So we're going to use the 6,000. Oh, we're going to do gold. Oh my goodness, I'm ping-ponging. Ping-ponging. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of iridescent gold fine, and this is going to help you see all this beautiful, the way this works to capture the ridges on a clay item. Oh, that was a lot, Cara-Renee. That's okay. That's okay. We're going to do it. We may as well do it right. In terms of, you know, if you're going to overdo it, you may as well overdo it all the way. No matter what, it's going to be gorgeous. So that's what I care about. And if I find that there's too much gold, I can always touch it up with some of the blue paint later. If I am looking at it and I'm like, yeah, I don't know, because that's a lot of gold right there in that spot. So I'm just going to balance that out by getting some heavy bits over here as well, so it doesn't look out of balance. But again, I may decide to add more blue. So that's going to go there. That helps a lot because it's tying in that with the base cardboard also. So I'm going to use my E6000, which is right here. Uh-oh. Okay, this stuff is pretty stinky, so you want to be careful if you use it. I'm going to use a lot because my clay piece is not even. When it dried uneven. So I'm just really getting it everywhere so that I know that it's going to adhere to whatever it can underneath. Like that. So I've got a ton of E6000 on there. So now, which way do we want this to face? I think that way. So I'm just going to set it right here. Boom, like that. Okay. The beautiful thing about E6000 is it does start sticking pretty fast. It's not 100%. It takes quite a while. I think 24 to 48 hours to set. I'm just going to get that extra off. I do not want that on my paper, even though it is there now, but you know, it is what it is. Now, so it was a lot, so we've got some oozing. I may be able to wipe that off or get that off with a small brush. Let me just see if I can do it with my finger here. Yeah, oh, I'm squeezing more out. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I gotta get that off. That was not my intention. Okay, well, we know there's plenty of glue, right? I usually overdo these things, so I'm going to try to push down on this side and see if we can get a more solid adhesion, and just keep wiping that. Yeah, it was probably just too much. It's still oozing out over here, so I'm going to grab it while I can. It's probably going to leave some residue on the base, but you know, it is what it is. So it's homemade, you know, it's my own creation. So let's do that a little bit differently on the butterfly. So I'm going to put that butterfly up here. So again, E6000, and I'm going to maybe, I don't think I need as much as I think I do. So let me concentrate it more on the middle area so that, and not quite so much. I'm not hardly squeezing the tube, so I just want to make sure that we get the high spots because that's where it's going to really catch. Okay, like so. And let's just put her down there. Let's not overthink it, okay? Put it down. I'm going to hold that for a sec. And I want to hold this up for you, and then I'm going to let you go. So I hope that it was interesting and inspiring for you to see how I create a mixed media journal topper. So this is going to be the journal cover for the Joyful Spring journal, which I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think it's perfect. And again, underneath it, we're going to have this blue fabric and this fabric. I think that I'm kind of debating. I'm not sure if I'm going to have this be the base and then have the yellow be a layer underneath the topper, but I will definitely show you that when I do it. So that is it, my friends. There is our beautiful journal topper, and you can see that beautiful texture down there. I might add a little bit of blue. It got a little bit lost, but you can always touch these things up. So I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.